Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Tarot from tarot03.com. Today's Tuesday. It's June 23rd, 2026. It's 10:35 a.m. Central Time here in the Ozarks. And I was putting the report together. I just can't put any more report together. I have to go with what I have here. A couple of question and answers. I realized the last second I wasn't copying and pasting and putting the document together. But I have two of you on here. Let's see. Which will kind of lead me to what I'm wanting to share with you guys. So Dave wrote, I'm glad you explained what's going on with your health there, everybody. Sounds like you went to an iridologist. I'm not sure what exactly what Nikki is. Um, examine nerves in your eyes and diagnose your health. Well, that's what she did. The best health practitioner. Well, you guys can read through here. Previous medical doctor, Kansas City, genius. Gave me his phone number. If I'm on Facebook. Well, I'm in. Reminds you of Dr. Deagle. I mean of yeah, Dr. Bill Deagle. I have a lot of respect for. And now you're 76, and thank you for writing and your recommendations. In the hands of Nikki and Dr. Deborah for now, and appear to be on the right road. Nikki said that the 1 month to 3 month period begins after I get on her herbs, and those are still. I asked if she was going to send them here, and she said no. That I had to come back over there, which I have to go over there anyway, and she's going to write me out all the instructions on the things that I have to do. So right now I'm kind of in a limbo period, and I had to stop eating because I stopped going to the bathroom, and that's not normal. You can't just keep putting stuff in if nothing's coming out, right? So it's kind of strange because I don't have any stomach, hunger pains. I haven't eaten since yesterday. No hunger pains, no go to the bathroom pains or anything. It's going on inside of me. So I'm feeling like eventually, right, something's going to change. And when it does, then you're going to have to eventually break down and go in there and eat something. But I ate the fruits and vegetables and put fiber on top of it. And then I watched the video, doing a little research on it. And if my system gets blocked up, that's not actually the thing to do because then you're just packing and packing. So I'm in a holding pattern on that, and I'm looking forward to the something happening so I can go in there and eat something, which I'm gonna have to break down and do in any case. So that's kind of where I'm just not feeling that good, and just gonna take it day by day, try not to overdo anything. And let's see, yeah, this is from Dave. It's there's so many things to do, and I'm frustrated I can't get out there and do anything. Yeah, this is where you were writing before. I probably have this copied and pasted down wrong. I think that's what you wrote before. And you're praying to be guided in the understanding of the spiritual things, the spirit, blood, and water, the mystery explained. At some point, people are going to realize how really important that was. People just don't see it yet. And so all I could write back today, brother, is thank you for your kind words, and we do our best, and God does the rest. Then hypothesis from Todd. Todd helped me in the garden years ago, back when I was doing the garden. So my sense that I could not physically do the garden this year turned out to be correct. Listen to my reports, and you jumped back in here recently, don't because you've been really busy. Started listening to my reports again. 12 minutes in, hearing about hanging on to water and nutrients and the heart. Oh, I checked my cat and I both checked our heart rates and we're both normal. It's not my heart. I take the before every meal that I take my heart medicine, which I haven't taken now. I've missed the last two or three heart medicine trips because I take it just before I eat, and I'm not eating at the moment. And so you can read what else that he's saying here. And I, I copied and pasted this to a document that I can reference later because David has mentioned to me that he had to go to a sleep clinic, and everybody in my family has sleep disorders. Everybody except for me sleeps with a TV on. It runs in my family. Or it was in my. It was in. It's all over my family. Sleeping disorders. That's just normal to wake up a few times. I did start. I was on those sleeping pills for years. If you're following my reports, and I was on it to the detriment of my health. I seem to have a habit of doing that, and I had to stop taking sleeping pills. And now I avoid them like the plague. The but the hormone, the melatonin. Then I started taking some of that. The body makes it naturally, just a boost. You can take 2 milligrams or 10, and I started taking that, and that seems to be helping me. But the thing that you mentioned here that I didn't realize is that sleep apnea accelerates chronic kidney disease progression, increases the risk of kidney function decline, lead to protein in the urine. And the thing that I'm noticing is that I'm not going that much, even though if I drink more, and that's what Nikki said. She said it doesn't matter how much you drink if your kidneys can't process it, right? So it feels like listening to everybody and listening to my body that I am like on this right near or on the slippery slope to kidney and liver failure is what the sense that I get, but it's not cardiovascular. So pushing myself for so long and being approaching the slippery slope and not listening to my body, continuing to get out there and through the winter do all that concrete work and building the power shed and building all the shelves and was working through the winter doing these reports and running out there and doing that. And I was still here. I mean, I'm on the verge of collapse and I'm going to upgrade the solar panel system. I'm thinking that my body's a machine and it's not. And I had to, I mean, now I've stopped and my body is still suffering from being pushed. You don't know how many times cats told me you got to stop pushing yourself, got to stop pushing yourself, got to stop pushing yourself. So you may be onto something. So I copied and pasted that. And the sleep issues are likely a contributing factor to a series of conditions creating the perfect storm. So I got myself into perfect storm category, and now I've dug myself a hole. Is what's happened, and I have to ease myself out of it. Being stuck, getting your vehicle stuck. Reminds me of whenever my four-wheel drive truck was stuck in the front yard, and we couldn't. Kat and I worked on it for over 2 hours trying to get it to move because every time I turned the wheels, it was because of the snow, and it had frozen, and it was freaking really cold. And we live on the side of a mountain, so the difference from the where the water tanks are in the far back above the garden to where the front of our house is. I don't know how many feet it is. It's steep. And the truck sideways, every time we moved it, it was trying to go into the creek. And finally, we were able to break the ice and get it down. And where you could get down to the ground and get the truck back into the garage, it was quite the job. I don't know if you guys, if you've been following me for years, then you maybe remember that. That's how I feel. It's like I'm stuck. And the more I move, the more I try to push and pull, anything I do gets me further off the edge. So I'm in a precarious situation right now. And my own temperament is to work, 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 work. That is working against me right now. So I copied and pasted that down. That if that was the sole cause, then it was something I would jump onto. But it's a combination of other things. And I appreciate you guys sending me. I've got a lot of emails just like this. And what I need to do right now is take the information that represents a threat to us the most and get it get those articles in there, give you my commentary, make these videos, upload them, and then go in there and rest. That's really really what I need to do. This is your yeah hypothesis. Todd Todd, I don't remember from years ago, was helping me in the garden. Okay, and before I forget, nano silver orders. Nano silver is all made, it's all cased and already wrapped and already packaged and boxed ahead of time. And so it's not like I have to run into the lab and do anything. Have your orders in by 8 a.m. Central Time, and your orders will be shipped on Friday morning. Whether it's me or whether it's Cat, get your nano silver while you can. I don't know how much longer that I'm going to be able to keep making it for you guys. And when Peter Buds the fan and the pestilence card is played, you're going to wish you had more nano silver and more silver for barter too. So this there's a lot that we're not being told about the war. China and Russia are using Iran in the same way that the United States and the EU are using Ukraine against Russia. And we're not getting the full story about this, was it F-15, the way it was taken down, drone attacks. Page 93 of the NASA doc shows how swarm attacks, that's what's going to take out our carriers. That's what took this jet down. Everybody's shocked that it could even happen. And the technology is most certainly bricks. It's bricks. China. And they own the sky. They have weapons. Iran has weapons that they haven't even used yet from the arsenal, the BRICS arsenal. That's part of Trump is trying doing the big talk, the song and dance, trying to control the markets because we're in trouble. The United States population and the markets are in trouble, like kind of like I'm in trouble on near the slippery slope. Thing is, I realize it, and there's things that I'm doing that I'm going to get better. I'm going to be all right. I can't say that for the United States and the markets, as they're just continuing to trot along, waltz along like everything's just fine, and it is not. We're at a severe disadvantage in the World War III scenarios that are happening in Ukraine and in Iran. Third party gains ground over past year. So you notice a shift in Michael Snyder's writing away from World War III and the hunger crisis, the food crisis, oil shock crisis, and everything else over to politics. And I'm going to disagree with you here, brother. And I can see that my comments were not copied and pasted. Okay, here we go. The reason for cross posting is so that I can share my views and send you somewhere else for more information. There has been no left right political paradigm in the US since JFK. With Trump now running the DC Swamp Uniparty for the Global Banks Cartel and their CFR, Council on Foreign Relations Working Groups. Our concern should be for the power lobby armies bribing our representatives like Senator Cotton. I take it kind of personal when it's Arkansas senator pushing this IAA Section 622, like the House 224 attachment to the NDAA, that marries together Mossad and the CIA. Neither should be trusted. They're already married together, or already. They've been in wedlock for decades. And but this anything that they want to share with each other, they're all working for the Council on Foreign Relations working groups. Mossad's in with the Council on Foreign Relations working groups is the CIA in Denver. It's been going on. It's going to continue going on. It's 100% absolute corruption. This NDAA money gets sent to Israel, and then part of that comes back and bribes our representatives, and it's been going on. Decades ago, I wrote the top 10 reasons that the United States were ready to be destroyed back then, allowing the Fed to operate inside of our borders, allowing the Fed to charge us interest on our own money. That's absolute stupidity. They're draining us of our wealth. We should be a wealthy nation. They're going to raise the interest rate to slow down inflation, take more money out of the system for themselves, and devalue the rest of the currency that's in our pockets. But the Americans allowing lobbyists to trot up and down the halls of Congress, bribing, that in itself is a travesty. That's what you get. Bend over, take the medicine. That corruption is the reason. That's what happened with the Greeks. That happened with the Romans. Every Republican type, representative type form of government fails in history. Every single one of them fail. Like every fiat currency fails. Same reason, because of corruption. That's exactly what we have here. This is espionage in plain sight, hiding in plain sight. That's handing over our secrets. Again, it's been going on. It's going to continue going on. But what's in the NDAA, these attachments, Section 622 from the Senate and House Section 224, makes marrying the intelligence community and the sharing, the AI in particular, the sharing of all that information mandatory. That's the difference. They're doing it behind our back. It's like in a marriage relationship. And the cheating has been going on for years. It's mutually agreed that that's the way it is. But now you're wanting to sign a contract to make the cheating mandatory. It is asinine. It's absolutely stupid. It's corruption in plain sight. They're rubbing it in our faces, is what they're doing. So these people here don't bother me. They've got their faces. This is in plain sight. They don't try to act like that there's something else. The reason that these people are coming into power, Trump is helping them coming to power. Trump I didn't finish this. Trump is destroying his MAGA base, MAGA Republicans, people like Tucker Carlson, people like me, people likely like many of you, if you're still listening to me, you realize there's something wrong. Trump is the not no more wars candidate. He's the America First candidate. Okay, so what the hell's he doing? He's destroying the mega base and the Republican Party with the dollar and the economy and U.S. global military hegemony and dollar hegemony, and everything's being destroyed, destroying our relationships with all of our allies. Even the EU sees us as a foe now, not an ally. High percentage of the people over there. And he is pushing the growing independent voter base to the left. I think most of us know the way that elections are won is not by talking to your 40% base. Republican and Democrat 40-40. It's getting the people in the middle to come your way. That's what it's all about. And it's the economy. That's why it's the economy, stupid. That's why it's the economy, stupid. Because whenever the you have policies that destroy the economy, which that's exactly what Trump's doing, then you have the 40% that's against you anyway, and the 20% in the middle against you. And Trump is even turning a percentage of the 40% of the Republican side against him, driving wedges. What does that mean for the Republican Party? It means you're giving up the House and the Senate. And it's not going to take too long before Jeffries and Schumer or whoever they put in there is impeaching Trump, convicting Trump, and getting his butt out of office, which makes Trump even more desperate. But Trump is between a rock and a hard place because he's trying to keep his Israeli lobby donors happy without crashing the economy. But in the meanwhile, back at the ranch, people like this gain favor because the younger people, particularly, I feel so sorry for them, the bottom of our socioeconomic ladder. Just put your elbows together like I have on my desk here, and bring your fingers together. You make a pyramid. Well, the bottom of that pyramid is eroding out from under us. Those people are angry, and more as you come up, as we get closer to the election, and we have our oil shock, and more people can't pay their bills, then more and more people are becoming angry. The anger vote is making these people more powerful right here. Because Trump is making it plain as day that the Republicans do not have the answers. The Republicans don't know how to play with the lead anyway. But they're absolutely fumbling the United States. At the same time that we have the oil shock coming, no matter what anybody does, you'll see moving through July and August, the oil shock, diesel shock, and then rationing. When you see rationing happening, I have my hand up on my forehead here, and whenever the rationing comes, then we're not far from Mad Max. And then martial law is the response. Everybody's going to be screaming for martial law because they want it. It's not going to be safe to go outside when hungry people are in the streets. Iran, Oman reaffirmed sovereignty over Strait of Hormuz, which they should. That's territorial waters. I keep looking it up and asking the same question. I had a debate with AI about it. At first, AI is telling me, oh, that's international waters. I go, oh, yeah. And I had AI look up the rules and regulations and treaties based upon territorial waters. Oh, yeah, every nation has 12 miles. They have even laws going out to 200 miles. But within 12 miles, territorial waters. I showed you the map already. Strait of Hormuz is not 24 miles wide, so these guys are reaffirming their sovereignty over territorial waters. Other nations are going to do the same thing. So this is proving that the United States cannot provide safety and security over the oil going in and out, which destroys not only our military hegemony, but the dollar hegemony, because that is based upon Bretton Woods, that's based upon Henry Kissinger, 70s, all that's is circling the drain right now. And BRICS came out with their new SWIFT-like system that's digital. The SWIFT system is, I'm shaking my head here. The SWIFT system is analog, old analog dinosaur type system. It's like night and day. I'm looking at these cities in China. I'm looking at the people in China and how they're moving around, the way they're doing things, the way they're renting a scooter to go do their thing. It costs them $1. They rent a scooter. They go do and they bring it back. They park the scooter outside, don't lock it. They have their e-bikes and things. They go to the gym. They don't lock it. There's no locks on anything. There are no cameras. I mean, there's cameras everywhere, but nobody's going to steal anything, because if they get caught stealing something in China, then you are dealt with ruthlessly. You don't have to worry about anybody stealing your stuff. You can leave something right there on the park bench. Nobody's going to take it. That's the way it is over there. So much different. And whenever you just look around, it's so modern. Everything is so modern. Their trains, everything is so modern. And like I was saying yesterday, the gym that the lady went to, she had a big old giant smile on her face. Everywhere she went, she was so happy and healthy and eating good and everything. And I looked at, she said how much her payment was, $118 per year. It's about $10 a month for her gym membership. And I'm not kidding you. The thing was huge and it was state of the art. Nothing. I've had gym memberships. Nothing like what she had over there though. Related, Herzog, no peace possible while Iran arms Hezbollah to its neck. What's wrong with that picture? The problem is the United States arming Israel and bombing of Lebanon. And it's much more than Iran arming Hezbollah now. Now, since the United States and Israel has gone over there and preemptively, for no reason whatsoever, bombed Iran, killed the religious leader of the region during talks. Oh my God, this could not be worse. So what you did was you got BRICS involved. BRICS, China, Russia, helping Iran against the big Satan and the little Satan, Iran and the United States. How do you like being the big Satan, bad guy, over there killing children? You know that you hear every now and then the commentary. If you go to the colonels, if you go to Colonel Daniel Davis, and you go to the people that I recommend to you, you hear about the girls that were more than 100 of them killed, daughters of the generals. It's right. That school that they triple tapped it. They hit it 3 times using AI. And that was not a mistake. It was on purpose. That was a message sent to the Iranian military generals. That's what it was. It was done way on purpose, like you see happening in Gaza, like you see happening in Iran. There's a signature there. I mean, Iran, I'm sorry, and Lebanon. It's happening the same way. West Bank, that's what's happening. I've made statements in the past about what Israel should have done back in 1967 with Gaza when they took it from the Egyptians, and the West Bank, with what they should have done back then. They should have driven everybody out and occupied it. That is the fruit of war. You won the war. What they did was they just allowed it to be an occupied territory. That was the mistake that they made, in my opinion, because the answer after that is genocide, and that's what they're doing. They're trying to, with their Greater Israel Initiative, do what only Elijah can do. and the world is turning against them for it and turning against us, United States. You guys realize that we're on the wrong side of the war in Ukraine and we're on the wrong side of the war in Iran. The United States is on the wrong side of both wars, like the Nazi Germans. Like this is the Fourth Reich happening here in the United States right now, and we're on the wrong side. The dissenters, people like me and people like Tucker Carlson right here, the dissenters, we're the people that wind up in the camps. Who is Tucker Carlson fighting? Oh, I didn't do all of these. Let me see. Maritime traffic plunge after IRGC reimposes the blockade. You're hearing conflicting stories about that right now because the Chinese, the Iranian ships transporting oil to China, they're going through. The people that are paying the right way, they have a contract. There's with there's a new setup with Iran and Oman and the way that people navigate. There's a new protocol. People that are signed up and according to that protocol, they're able to go in and out just fine. That's what's more and more nations are being added to that, and more ships are being added to that every day. That's the new normal now. United States is not liking it. That's their military hegemony. That's what the dollar hegemony and everything's based on, and it's slipping out of the hands of the United States. And Trump feels it, and he's responsible for it. This is going to be part of Trump's legacy, and he knows it, and he doesn't like it. I'll blow them to pieces. That's his response. I'll blow them to pieces. Trump has no card to play in the Middle East. So if Trump decides to deploy into every, a lot of, well, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people I'm listening to, they're saying that the United States is going to fall into the trap set by the Israelis and attack Iran. You do not want to do that. What happened to that F-15 fighter back in April, the swarm attacks, is going to happen to anything that we send in there. And it's going to start happening to our ships farther and farther away. The United States aircraft carriers all around the world are vulnerable to attacks from space right now. Trump blasts Iran over leaked terms. I'm sorry, I read the Israeli national news. I didn't get into all that, but you have to expect that's going to happen. Problem is, the Iranians don't trust Trump. They don't trust the Americans, period. They have no reason to. European powers welcome deal, demand swift reopening of Hormuz. So they're talking about MOU and they're acting like that's a deal. That's not a deal. The MOU is the foundation for having a deal later down the road. If you can do this and this and this and this, and all of these things go right. So far, they're not going right. The Iranians have every upper hand in every situation. The Iranians have the upper hand, and they are smart. They're playing their cards wisely. And Trump is playing from a position of weakness, but he has to play the propaganda card all the time. Who's he fighting? He's fighting the global gangster cartel. And I don't know if that's who he can, that's the puppeteer that we're all fighting. I don't know if he actually sees them. I think he feels like it's the Israeli lobby. It's the apex people that are bribing our congressmen and our senators. If you keyword him, that's what he's talking about a lot. How how the United States are being forced to serve Israeli interests. But don't blame the Israelis. It's the global gangster cartel. The Israelis are being manipulated the same way. Just look at Israel. It's being taken apart. Much of it looks like Lebanon. Why would you do that? It's not they're being forced to. Netanyahu's being forced. He's being pressured by the global banksters just like Trump is. Neocons, traditional Republicans, MAGA. This is who Tucker Carlson aligned himself with. And these are people that are becoming more, well, the neocons, they're battling to go to war. They're misinformed. That is suicide. MAGA is being fractured since the Epstein files, and that this is continuing to get worse and worse and worse. It's being amplified. The destruction of the MAGA movement is being amplified by the Epstein files. Is going to keep coming back. It's not going to go away. And the war, Trump being no more wars president. He wants the Peace Prize and all that. And then he does this. We don't know if World War III is going to start tomorrow. Humans, we've arrived. Brazilians receive alien invasion alerts. Expect this kind of thing is where we are headed. Operation Disclosure, and it's not just Project Exposure, it is an operation that's being carried out by those that are the Council on Foreign Relations working groups, those that are controlling our government officials. This is going to come to a head at some point, and we're going to be forced to believe that aliens are invading to try to unify us. It's kind of like you're getting ready to process your cattle herd into meat. How do you do that? They're out there just wandering around the pasture. Well, how are you going to do that? First thing you got to do is round them up. And this is going to be the way that we're rounded up to get us all going in the same direction on the way to, well, processing for transforming people into fertilizer for feeding the children of the New World Order. They need a grand attack against the whole planet in order to make that work. This is like a test run to see what's going on what they can do down in Brazil. I mean, that's the way I see it. My upset primary victory shows voters are hungry for healthcare solutions. That's a fact. People are hungry for the solutions. Thing is, there is no solution. Because the problem is not with the medical system. Well, don't get me started. Of course, that they're not into the medical lobby is as powerful, if not more powerful, than the Israeli lobby. And they're not into solutions. They're into treating symptoms. The revolving door, keeping the money flowing. It's about making money, profits. It's not about curing anything. But beyond that, there's nothing you're going to do to a politician. There's nothing he's going to do to come in and change things, rearrange the chairs on the USS Titanic to make it to its destination. It's not going to happen because the problem is with the devaluing of the currency. You cannot control the costs whenever the value of the dollar is weaker with every passing minute. That's why Walmart is putting those digital pricing up because of the devaluing of the money. And Trump wars make inflation. He's making it worse. He needs billions, hundreds of billions, and then trillions of dollars to fight a war we shouldn't even be fighting. To send more money to Israel so that the corrupt politicians can get more money. And that you're not going to fix it with another politician with an idea. Whenever the financial system, the Fed, overprinting of the currency is the problem. It's just insane to think that it is. But people coming up in the elections, if they put a D by their name or an I by their name, it seems to me they're going to have a better choice than if they put an R by their name because of the anger vote all the way up and down. Even though the Democrats, they don't have a platform, they don't have a leader, they don't have anything. Their ideas are terrible. But that's the way the anger vote works. It's a pendulum swinging. It's gravity. And it's going to swing, and it's going the opposite direction from the Republican Party. No matter, it seems to me it's already too late. It's kind of like the oil shock crisis. It's too late. They can spin propaganda to keep the price down, the futures price of the oil down. That's what they're doing. People are making a lot of money on it, but then reality is going to set in. The price of silver is being pushed down too, but reality is going to set in of the shortage. And demand destruction is is in the market. It's going to keep the commodity prices down some, but look beyond that and you're going to see more and more countries are going to want to depend on the sunlight rather than depend on oil for power. The solar panel system like we have in the backyard. They're going to want to depend on that and not on the Strait of Hormuz, which means they need more solar panels and inverters and the things that are made with silver. No matter what the price goes to, the higher the price of oil goes, the more the demand for the solar panels and those things are going to go up, right? There's enough millionaires in the world to keep that demand going up, even if the bottom rungs of the socioeconomic ladder are cratering. Christian response. So, I haven't, Carrie and I wrote back and forth, but it didn't make it in the question and answers. There are more and more power outages, more and more power outage warnings. So we have rain here, just for example, in Northwest Arkansas. Our high today is in the 70s, 78 as a high today. Sun's not going to come out. And we're going to have rain up until Saturday. After that, 95, 96, 97-degree highs. So that hot is finally going to get here. And when it does, the power systems, power generation, just the power system in general, are going to come under great stress. We're going to see more and more power outages. We're going to see lots of them moving through the summer. Brownouts and blackouts. That's going to happen. Watch them. They're going to be happening in Europe. They're happening in Spain. They're happening in Europe. And I don't know if you realize it or not. I watched a video yesterday. Texas is about to have extreme difficulties. Their water tables are dropping rapidly. And that's happening across, well, the entire northern hemisphere is happening because of the black star and the super plume formation. But particularly in the west, in Mexico City and the western United States, Texas is right in the crosshairs of that, because one of the biggest problems that we have is too many people here. 40, 50 million illegal aliens that are here taking up resources. That's more showers every day. That's more water. That's per person. And then leaks in the piping in the system, the old systems that we have, where Corpus Christi is Texas is getting ready to have serious. If you live there, oh my God, oh my God. And a lot of places in Texas are going to have the same problem. So Corpus Christi is investing almost $1 billion in new water system they should have invested in 10 years ago. It's too late. The supply and demand curves are crossing, and they're going to have to ration and then turn off water. That's happening in a lot of places in the Northern Hemisphere. And Texas, a lot of people moving there because they're running away from California and New York. They're running to places like Texas. So these red states are going to have greater stress on their power and water that is being added to by the data center phenomenon. The more the people that go there, the more data centers that the city planners and they're going to be approving. That takes up more power, more water. You see what's happening? It's a perfect storm situation for not enough water, not enough power for people. So those costs are going to skyrocket along with the oil costs. Perfect storm for catastrophe. So where people are running to right now, the people are going to have to run away from pretty soon. Because they don't realize they're running onto a sinking ship. And Texas is one of those places. Not as bad here in Northwest Arkansas yet. Okay, links. Okay, I've seen this before, the ball. You might want to, this is one of the links at the top of the newsletter. Whenever I talk about the links, it's this right up in here. A cool change. This is a lady named Jennifer who John was helping, and she's on the regiment and she's staying on the regiment. And she's we're trading emails. I addressed 3 points in her email. There's some things in there that I don't really want to share. I think that they're a little bit too personal for Jennifer. And the she's a very gifted person. She reminds me of Sabrina Wallace in a lot of ways. And she's on the deep end of the pool. She can take you over there and drown you. I don't want that to happen. I don't want to create a great giant rabbit hole for you guys. We're going back and forth. This YouTube channel right here, you're going to want to check out the videos. So I'm wanting to give you some related links and some commentary and some background information and things that before you go there. That's what I'm trying to do. And I had to stop at 3 points from the email that we're trading, and I'll try to add that tomorrow and add a little bit the next day and work on it gradually. It'll become a Substack post eventually, and or work the bugs out. But you're, she is. I thought this was John that was talking to me. He was talking to me years ago. It's not. John helped her, and then she got on the regiment, and now she has access to information that's beyond the average person, kind of like Sabrina Wallace, because she was part of a program. And from the time Sabrina Wallace was born, she was her parents, the part of a program. That's why she's a gifted person, but she has experiences that are far beyond the average person. That and people with those types of experiences, they're extremely helpful for you to understand things, but they can take you down to the other end of the pool, the deep end, and just drown you. And that's not helpful in my experience in working with the genius types. So I'm going to navigate this and then share the information as I can. But these are the videos that I'm going to be ultimately sending you to, so you can go check it out. You can see Cool Change, Ontario 32. You can see the address right there if you want to go check them out right now. But I could just warn you right off the bat, not for swearing and things like that, but there is some controversial stuff that's there, some things that are kind of hard to accept about what's really going on inside of us, the the nanotechnology and all that stuff. So the end result is get on the regimen. I mean, she's going to tell you. She's been taking 500 parts per million directly. You have to be careful about doing that. The was when you're on the regimen, 10 parts per million. Think about that. 10 parts per million is an extremely small dose. You're taking 1 teaspoon for every 22 pounds of body weight per day. 1 teaspoon. So if you're a 110-pound lady, then you're only taking 5 doses a day. That's an extremely small amount of nanosilver. Your body burns it out about every 3 hours, and it's done. It does not accumulate and build up in your body. When you start taking 500 parts per million, and I've heard some others of you have mentioned that you've done that. Say, I spray that on my skin and things. There are reasons to do that, even internally, spray it into your lungs as a mist, a certain number of times a day, only for 3 days or so. And she is going to make mention that you should not do that because then you have potential for the buildup. That's going to happen if you take too much. That's why there's a weight chart regimen. So I want to be able to wade through that and share all the information with you to give you the best information possible and not lead anybody down any bad roads. Now whenever I add a link, now this is the link right here, Bob Lazar's claims about this sphere. So I've seen this sphere before. This is old news. And let me show you a little bit of it.
When I first saw it, I thought that this was a US-made, very advanced next-generation fighter, and in fact that this would explain all the UFO sightings. It was only later to find out that that wasn't the case. We're looking at something, scarcely bigger than a basketball that's doing this.
What if the world's most controversial UFO whistleblower was right all along?
Okay, so this is about 24 minutes of information that they're going to go through. When this thing was picked up out of the field, it weighed 4 pounds. And they brought it in, and we put it on the weigh scale, 4 pounds, and put it up on a shelf. And then later, when he went to get it, because he was sharing the information with whoever he was sharing it with, he went to pick it up, and it was 22 pounds. And he could see that there was something that was going on here that was different. So, like I say, I've seen this before, and my interpretation of this evidence is that this is technology of the amphibious and the reptilian races inside the Earth. This ball shows up at critical points in our history, not just today. It shows up in the past. It is going to show up in the future. It's going to show up when they're testing atomic bombs, critical times in our history, as if somebody knows something and goes back in time and says, we need a probe to detect this because we're going to do this and this and this. This is a tool of the amphibious, and the amphibious races are way older than the reptilian races. This is their technology right here, which we're finding out about more and more as we get closer and closer to the end of our time being here. This little mystery time period. At the end of the age, there's going to be a lot of this stuff that is made known. Whenever Satan is incarnate on the earth, where the devil incarnates on the earth as a man, his false prophet, boy, beast, and their false prophet and their boy beast, whenever they are walking on the earth as man, they're going to be displaying great signs and wonders. And the Messiah, David, the Messiah, Daniel, he's cut off. Daniel 9, start verse 24. He's going to be beheaded in his own guillotine, and he's going to instruct the custodians not to do anything. Kind of like the John the Baptist scenario. You're not allowed to do anything. You can observe all you want, but you're not allowed to do anything. They're the ones that are about to fix the earth from being terraformed by the red star, the black star. So at the end of the age, we're going through a period right now that mirrors the end of the age. It's not the end of the age, not by a long shot, but there are things that are happening very similarly. This is one of them right here that must happen. The amphibious races, their evidence must be displayed now because it's going to be displayed at the end of the age, with great more veracity and power. Whenever the devil and his minions the world's going to be full of them. Everybody that obeys the gospel of the kingdom, millions and millions of them are going to be beheaded. They're all going to be killed to the last one of them on the earth. That's when the two witnesses come out and testify for their 42 months. This type of thing right here is going to be commonplace. It's going to happen. The custodians are going to let their presence be known. They're not going to like what happens because we're about to go through over 3,000 years where their presence is normal. The king is going to be working with them. It's part of the restoration of all things. They're part of it. Their reason for being here is absolutely natural and normal. It's absolutely natural and normal for Elijah to be taken to heaven by them. He's the guy they're waiting for. He's the guy that's about to show up. He's in the world right now. He just doesn't have his powers yet. But when he does, the custodians that's who they're looking for. That's who the Iranians are looking for. They're Mahdi. That's who Israel's looking for. They're Elijah. That everybody's looking for the same person. That's about to show up. We're right on the edge of that happening right now. So that's why this is happening. That's what it is. It's the custodian races. This is one of their probes right here. And I made a comment that I'm surprised that they're this sloppy. Then I thought about it later. They're not being sloppy. Nothing. They don't do anything by accident. If anything happens that's not supposed to happen, the custodian races can change it. They control time and space so that it never happened. And nobody would know. The fact that this is happening means they want us to know. They want us to see what's going on here. They want us to connect another dot to see that there's something larger happening than just the Republicans and the Democrats, and just Russia and China and BRICS and NATO. There's something bigger that's here, that's watching over everything. So if let's just hypothetically say if Iran got the nuke, which I think they already have, but let's just say that they got it from North Korea, and then they decided to just take Israel off the map. The thing went boom. The custodian races could identify that and roll everything back and go back to what triggered it and stop that from happening so that we never knew. Maybe Israel's been blown off the map 10, 20, 50 times, and we just don't know, and we're not going to. That's the world that we live in. We live in a courtroom. We're here to be judged. Hebrews 9:27 is for man, seventh day people to live once, or die once, and then the judgment. And it's about that judgment that's what we're here for. Ecclesiastes 1:9-11. We're doing things already done. And the custodian races are part of that. In God's infinite realm, they're part of that because they're members of Adam's body that were made in him inside him on the day he was born. The seventh day people that are here now, you and me, we're members of Adam's body in God's infinite realm. We're gods like Adam. We incarnated inside of him. What's happening here is a replay of those things that happened there. See the 6-day people that are here, the Chinese, the Aborigines, the amphibious races, the reptilian races, they are members of Adam's body in God's infinite realm. We all have interacted before. We all know each other intimately. And we are going to know each other intimately here, just not yet, because of God and his judgment of what's happening. Large, strange, unusual, and sudden outages all over the internet this morning. So this is more evidence that societal support mechanisms are collapsing. This is also precursor events to World War III. So if you're BRICS, you test the West, and they're watching everything from space. It's not just super AI. The Russian satellites, Chinese satellites, they have people here on the ground. They have terror cells here. The United States has been infiltrated. You should know that by now. Even a casual observer should know that by now. With Biden opening the borders to millions and millions and millions flooding in, and BRICS seeing the United States as a threat, what are you going to do? You're going to send your assets there. I saw a headline, or I saw in the news where they're catching Iranian military people crossing our borders. Iran doesn't need to send their military people across the borders. They can send them here legally using visas. Infiltrate. They're going to give them covers, deep covers. There are people here on visiting visas. They're on vacation. They're here as students. They're here as professionals inside of our corporations. They're HB1 visa brought in by Bill Gates. It's gigantic military industrial complex operation that's happening here inside the United States. The United States has to succumb to the global banksters because we are the bastion of freedom and liberty. We have to be taken down. It's a must. It's a priority, part of their plan. Oh, unusual, strange, large outages. These are warning signs that we're getting closer and closer to the implementation of Activation Day. Oh, Karen, you sent me this. This is what was attacking us yesterday. It says 1 day ago. Yeah, this is what was getting us yesterday. And we're in the aftermath of that now here in the United States. So it's affecting this part of the country now. It's moving in this direction.
This is your World War III update. Okay.
Ron talks are fake. Vance is full of poop. I really like Nate. His eyes are open, and sometimes he has to back off for a little while in order to see it. He sees it coming in the distance, but he doesn't really recognize what it is yet. As it gets closer and closer, then he starts to recognize it, and then when he sees it, he starts to explode. He comes out and makes this video. That's what he's doing right now. Oil crisis being hidden. So I haven't seen this video yet. I have to watch it later. But the oil crisis, I've been warning you. I told you, it was a month ago. I went down to Walmart and I got the more oil for her vehicle. I didn't have to get it for my vehicle. I already have three. It takes 10 quarts for my change. I already have three changes. Didn't need to get that, but I wanted more for hers and for the new lawnmower that we got, and to have extra. If you have cases of oil on the shelf, you're going to have something that is extremely valuable. If you have the resources, get the 5-gallon jugs of the different. Just look it up on the internet, the most common types, like 10W30, really common type of oil, and just flat 30 weight. Even though a lot of noticing the older lawnmowers, they all use flat 30 weight. The newer ones, they use 10W30. Had to look that up for my mower. But if you have that on the shelf, that's as good as gold. Because the oil crisis is being hidden big time. It's going to get worse. They're going to run out of the heavy oil. They're going to run out of it. And they're going to be pumping in these salt mines. They're going to be pumping out those reserves. And all of a sudden, they're going to have crash, crater, water, sand problems. And they're going to pump them down so far, they're not going to have to, not going to be able to reuse those salt mines like they're using them now. Destruction is being done to our ability to have a reserve. So yeah, the oil crisis being hidden. The Israel deception. You guys know I really like Nate a lot. He doesn't see the black star. He doesn't see the whole picture, but he sees a lot of it. And
Do you want to know 9 amazing health benefits of drinking baking soda water? Let's dive in.
Baking soda water balances pH. Kat brought me a cup of baking soda water this morning. That's all I've had this morning so far. Natural detox aid. Support kidney health. Right? Relieves urinary tract. It's kind of in my ballpark. Right? Kat's been doing it for years. All of a sudden, she'll just fast, and that's all she'll drink because you need to stay hydrated, right? And then she does that every now and then. Let her system clean out. So this turned out to be the top threat that we're looking at right now. Biological weapon threat by far is the greatest threat. Get on the regimen, stay on the regimen. But the jellyfish formation, the swarm attacks that were happening, reported by this fighter pilot that was covered up originally, describing what he saw. Take that to page 93, the swarm attacks to our carriers, because this is what's coming for us. The United States and Israel are supposed to stand down. They're supposed to stop operations in the Middle East. The United States needs to put the tail between the legs and go home. There's going to be a new NATO alliance of the Middle East, and it's going to be run by, guess who? Iran. That's the way it should be. In my opinion, they're the most sophisticated, they're old civilization. And when you look at just looking at the genealogy, looking at Abraham, looking at Ishmael, coming first, and then Isaac and Jacob and Esau. All right, so he's like the Persians are like the uncle, if you will, the older uncle that's wiser and such. That's the way it should be. They're extremely powerful, and they're a member of BRICS. The United States You guys realize in the United States, where we're sitting over here in the United States right now, in the future is going to be called the coastlands. We're about to suffer extreme earth changes. 7 state area out west is going to go under the ocean. And a great gulf is going to be formed, saltwater, all the way up to the Great Lakes inside. So you're going to have coastland, that's it, upon coastland here. But the Tabernacle of David is about to be ripped up from here and laid down again in what's now Iraq. And that's old Mesopotamia. That's going to be the hub of civilization for our planet. The center of the landmass of our planet is old Mesopotamia, where the kings ruled for up to 48,000 years in ancient times. That's where the king is going to rule in the future. The king of this universe is going to rule from there. That's what you get out of the Old Testament. And that's what's going to happen in the day of the Lord, during the day of the Lord that's coming up. So whenever you say the day of the Lord, people are thinking Jesus Christ, right? His throne is heaven. The earth is his footstool. There's a day of the Lord for the Lord of the earth too. He's written about. Start Ezekiel, just one place. Ezekiel 34, start at 22. He's going to feed Israel himself. And he's going to create out of Esau, his brother, a great collar all around him. And the Persians are part of that out there, over there on the side. Looking at it, you'll be able to see it from space. It's going to look like a giant belt buckle from space. The prince's portion is 1.5 times in the middle. It's the buckle. It's right in the center. 6 tribes south, six tribes north. And their areas are walled off. There are great walls all around that kingdom. Their periphery. There's a great wall. And when you see it from space, it looks like a giant belt. As the ages go by, that belt gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Really, it's really amazing, the things that are coming. But for all those things to happen, the devil has to be dealt with first. And that's what's about to happen. He's about to be chained. He's going to be about put in his prison for the 1,000 years, the same 1,000 years as the day of the Lord. Most people interpret scripture and get that wrong. So this is Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson was my favorite guy. He followed Glenn Beck. For me, not necessarily because they were right about everything, but I could put my finger in the air and listen to those guys and see how the global bankster cartel was manipulating the media. And he was my guy for quite some time. And he had the the highest rated show on cable news, period, out of everybody for a long time on Fox News, primetime Fox News. And just to go to show you, he can be taken out just like that for statements that he made against Israel. Make that perfectly clear. So he's fighting the same fight that we're fighting. He
Welcome in, everyone.
Like Nate, Canadian Prepper, and the colonels, they just don't see the whole picture. So I'm sending to those guys. You realize they see part of the picture. They don't see the Black Star and all that. Iran used secret weapon to blow. Now this guy here is going to give you some of the details of that. This is in the newsletter, and this video link is right at the top, so you can check him out. Otherwise, you can go David Hookseed. You can go check him out. He's going to be talking about this, the jellyfish formation of the drone swarms. This is why I believe it's so important. This is page 93 of the NASA warfare doc. Sink carrier swarm attacks. See the swarm attacks? Same page, capture, torture Americans, live in color in prime time. Terror attacks, terror cells already here. Binary biological weapons are activated. So that's what people are carrying around inside of them right now. This is the road, this is where we're going, man. Most people think like COVID's over, you're carrying around the components, you just don't know it. They're going to be activated. Terror cells are going to be activated. It's all on the same page as our aircraft carriers being swarm attacked. the swarm attack that this pilot's going to describe and that this guy's going to describe, check out the video. Secret weapon. This is what's going to attack our carriers. It's going to happen because Israel and Trump are not going to stop. They're going to keep lying to our faces, and they're not going to stop. This is what happened in the infinite realm where you and I are gods. Satanic rebellion. The greatest weapons were lies and deception. We're being lied to, and the deception is right in our faces every single day. And they're representing themselves as people that are telling us the truth. Truth Social. He owns the platform, and he's telling you the truth. It is. If you want to believe that, you go ahead and believe that. But this is a gigantic, great deception that's happening in front of us right now. The oil shock. Is that whenever you're going to wake up? Is whenever the oil shock is real, and you show up to the store and there's no oil, and you go to the stations. We're going to see first. People can come in and get gas, but there's going to be plastic baggies on the diesel. It's going to be out of out of diesel, out of diesel, out of diesel, out of diesel. Watch and see. They're still going to have the gas. They get that from fracking. Our refineries can make that. The heavy stuff we do not have here in the United States. We have to import that. That's what's in some, not all, some of the reserves. And that's what Trump has been selling off to Japan and other places. Generally places where he removed the interceptor missiles and that are running out of oil, like Japan. Selling off our heavy oil whenever we need it to make diesel. And then running out. That's why Trump's kind of getting desperate. You can hear it in his voice. He lets out, he slips every now and then and gives us a little bit too much information. Something I'm noticing. He said that we're going to be out in 4 weeks. He wasn't supposed to say that. He said that, what was it, last week? It's going to be sometime in July, maybe even getting into August. Maybe they can find a way to make things stretch until then. But all of a sudden, the oil crisis is going to be way, way real. Third party gains ground. I read that to you. No left, right. Reaffirming sovereignty, which they already have that. Iran has the sovereign right to work with the to enrich uranium. They have the God-given right and the legal right under treaty to enrich uranium for their own nuclear power plant systems. They have the right to do that. The idea that they're going to stop and turn that over is just beyond ridiculous. It's illegal for Trump to even demand something like that. It's already under treaty. The Iranians signed the treaty. They're allowed to do that under law, international law. And they're straight. 12 miles of their border, they're allowed to do with it what they want to do with it. Especially if you're going to come in and bomb them, kill their religious leader. Humans, we have arrived. The reptilian races, the amphibious races, they wouldn't do that. They'd be more like the Captain Kirk and Spock on Star Trek, non-interference directive, the prime directive. That's how they are. That's how they're supposed to be. Prime directive, but these custodians have way greater power than the Enterprise. My upset primary victory. Yeah, don't be so proud of yourself. Healthcare solutions. Pressure sheath technology would help be a solution. You know, I thought about maybe going patent pending on that. Again, that'll be for the 4th time. Patent pending on my pressure sheath technology. Everything is advanced so much around it that maybe I could find the right person to actually get the prototype and get that, find somebody to use it. The obstacle is the medical lobby. Because when you're getting ready to do something big and change things, something dramatic like that, they just take you out. Christian response to Pride Month. This is Romans chapter 1, start at 18, go to 32, where it says those that practice these things are worthy of, even though it's worthy of death, they're worthy of death. They not only practice them, but they give hearty approval to those who practice them. So Christians have a problem with, well, the numerology doesn't work. The number of man is 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6 for a reason. Spirit plus blood plus water. The man is the one, right? Man, woman, and seed equals 6. Your spirit, soul, and your body equals 6. There's a numerology to the family and to the man, and you can't break those veils. You can't break them. It's like God's word can't be broken because you're breaking the veils of God's word. It's spirit, blood, and water too. Well, 2 men are 1 plus 1. It's not 6. The numerology doesn't work. It's an abomination to God. And if you practice those things, and you can do, that's between you and your creator. I don't have anything to do with it. It's not like I go out and seek out homosexuals to bash them in the head or anything, or even to write about them or anything. I don't pay much attention to them. Keep it in the closet. Nobody knows. That's how it was since the 60s. This type of stuff was around, but nobody knew about it because they kept it in the closet, right? Keep it in the closet. It's fine. It's when you take it out and parade it in front of our children and you want to influence our children. That's whenever the Lord God says, something wrong with that. Let's check out headlines. This is Linus of Judah. I highly, highly recommend you and a supporter if you have the resources to do so. I get headlines from her and share with you guys. She was doing this every day. Now she does it once or twice a week. She got on the slippery slope and had to go to the hospital and such, which I can relate to. Lindsey Graham says if Iran deal fails, Trump will take straightforward moves by force. No, he won't, because the United States does not have the physical capability of doing that militarily. It's impossible. And our military generals know it. That's why a lot of them don't work there anymore. They had to be let go. Trump demands Iran stop Hezbollah from causing trouble. Well, all you have to do is withdraw from Lebanon. With Israel, withdraw to its borders and don't cross your borders, and you will have no problems with his Hezbollah. Period. You guys know that I love Israel, the Bible. I support Israel's going to be ruler over this whole world at some point. What they're doing right now is genocide. No peace possible with Iran arming Hezbollah. There's no peace while the United States arms Israel and Ukraine and other wars around the world. Last time I asked AI, there were, I think, 45 wars happening right now. And the CIA in the United States, the global intelligence community and the global base cartel and the military industrial complex, they're part of all of them. It's like money laundering. It's drug running, gun running, slave trading. The CIA is the center of most of that. New U.S.-Iran-Lebanon mechanism to include Iran, Qatar, Pakistan, exclude Israel, and limit Israeli response to threats. That Israel's not going to stop. You're not going to tell them what to do. They're like a disobedient child. Your kid when it's 2, when he or she is 2, terrible 2s. If you have kids, you know exactly what I mean. They're going to be into everything and in trouble, and they're going to tell you no, and they're not going to stop until they're 3. They have to grow out of it or something. It's something that we all went through. Israel is stuck, and they're going to rebel against any. I'm not kidding you. It's like they want the Messiah to come. They're going to turn the whole world against them until somebody blows them up, and the custodian races have to repair, and then finally God says, okay, okay, okay. We're going to take the body of Christ and we're going to send the Holy Spirit to work with Elijah and restore all things. MOU's forgotten casualty is the Iranian people. I didn't get into those. I looked at those at the top, and I'm running out of gas, guys. I'm going to have to get bring this to a conclusion. Rhoda is dead. Rest in peace, Alan Greenspan. Special report. But buy the dips and hold if you have the resources. They're wrong. Why the bond market just sent a huge warning to the Fed. Yeah, the bond markets, when they get above 5%, our situation here in the United States is already non-sustainable. The whole world knows it. Too much debt. So nobody wants to buy your bonds. The idea that the privately owned Fed can even buy our bonds is absolutely insane. If the world doesn't find it's not willing to buy your bonds, then you stop spending. If that simple rule was in place, there would be no war in the Middle East, no war in Ukraine, because the United States couldn't fund it by deflating the dollars in our pocket. Yeah, there's the same title. Oh, the Swiss bond market just gave a dire warning. I think I shared that with you guys yesterday. Deficit spending confiscates wealth. Absolutely does. The existence of the Fed confiscates your wealth. Nobody's going to do anything about it. See Trump? You see him ending the Fed? No. Gold is a nuclear option for 127 trillion debt crisis. We're in way more. I think she's saying 127 is the global debt crisis, and that the United States is 103 of that. The debt is way higher than that, way higher. Our unfunded liabilities is over $200 trillion. People are believing the lie still. Trump has got people snowed. The oil crisis is being camouflaged. People don't see it coming. The longer that continues in the red like that, prices going down, 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 the bigger the brick is, it's going to hit us in the face. So investors need to know the truth of what's happening. I shared this with you yesterday.
Hey, I'm Dan. Welcome back to I Allegedly.
They can't squeeze another dollar out of us. The discretionary spending is almost non-existent. People are having, unless you're one of the millionaires. So that's not actually a correct statement. For the average Joe in the United States, that's who allegedly guy's talking about, the average Joe walking around. There's enough millionaires to keep the markets going. And, if they're your customers, you're doing pretty good. If the regular Joe, like you and me, if that's your customers, you're in trouble. The gold standard 2.0, Fed's about to change gold and silver prices forever. Hold on. Don't let them force the silver out of your hand. Market's relatively flat, if you ask me. Oh, this morning it was down 400 from where it is now. But Trump's talking up the markets, and silver's being pushed down. 62. Most of my silver is way below that. Some of it's higher though. I think the most expensive silver I have is 77. Some of the constitutional silver. 62. If I didn't have any constitutional and I had more dollars, then I would trade them in for constitutional silver right now. Below 10%, as the prices are going down, the premium between west and east is going down too. Gold down 44. It's going to be what, around 62. The ratio? No. Look how high it is. The ratio. It's trying to go back up to 70 again. Hasn't been this high in a little while. I just want to check this out since I'm here in the last month. Yeah, above 66. That's higher than the last time. I got up to 65 on the 9th. Silver, they're manipulating silver. That means the manipulation of silver, they're pushing down harder on silver than they are gold at the moment. 952 213 8930. Get a hold of Justin. Tell him Terrell Croft sent you. I recommend Walking Liberty rounds if they have them. They almost never do, but if they do, that's my favorite round. And then Buffalo rounds after that, and then Constitutional Silver. And you're getting it for barter, buy and hold. New Black Star Update channel report. I started putting the YouTube channel in the newsletter. Maybe some of you guys will click on it and subscribe, just get the numbers up. Going to be a little bit of confusion, I'm realizing. How many do you think? It was 45 yesterday. No new subscribers in the last 24 hours. Looks like a trend. Black Star Earth struck on the, yeah, that's the center line. I'll take these posts out. We just passed between two stars. We had two near side alignment quakes. Then this is what I was talking about with you earlier. There's that page 93. This is the post. That activation date is coming. It's going to come through Iran. You're being played. Hope you wake up and get on the regimen. How to purchase, mix, use, and store. Have your orders in. Last chance to get your nanosilver this month is this Friday before 8 a.m. Get your orders in. You'll get your notification email. You get a free copy of the Mystery Explained. You get both copies, the extended version too. You get your tracking numbers likely on Friday afternoon because we're past Juneteenth. You get them Friday afternoon. And you'll get your shipments next Monday and Tuesday. Protect your vehicle, your house, and your backup power. Nothing coming off the sun. I'll give you more information on that tomorrow. I want to get through this report. Wildfires continue to cost Utah. Also, Karen sent the counties in Washington state are on fire too.
Guys, you're looking at record-breaking.
Yeah, record-breaking. The super plume is causing this right here. The heat's coming from the plume straight through the plate right into the ocean. Things are just going to continue to get worse now until the black star gets here. Spain heat wave. They're bracing for super hot temperatures. Watch their grids. They're like a canary in the coal mine. Remember, their grids went down last year. Texas is kind of a canary in the coal mine too for us over here in the United States. The tech grid could collapse faster than anybody realizes. It's not just what's coming off the sun, the waves off the sun. It's the NSA, it's their contractors, it's bricks. It's collapsing towards the village. Pressures along quarter 3. Russia's ready for peace talks with Ukraine based on Putin would rather have a settlement, have a peace negotiation settlement, take over Ukraine. They're going to get it anyway. And begin, rejuvenate the breadbasket of Europe out of Ukraine and can get the oil flowing again. And that's what he would rather do without destroying Kyiv. I don't think that the globalists, the banksters, I don't think they're going to let them do it though. They're going to continue using the banksters are going to continue using Ukraine and Iran to weaken the West. We're weaker with every passing day. We're being brought to our knees. It's real easy to, sacrifice. That you're going to see that in my conversation with Jennifer. That there's nothing that can be done. What's happening? This is a sacrifice. The body of Christ and those with us are being walked to Calvary. We're on the road to Calvary. We're being spat upon. We're carrying our heavy burden, our load, the beam of our cross. Can you feel it? That's what's happening. We're under more and more stress. Our body's becoming weaker. I can feel it getting closer and closer and closer and closer. We're being led to a sacrifice, just like Abraham and Isaac. You know the story of Abraham and Isaac, right? The thing is, we're going to be we're going to be able to see the altar before the Lord God steps in and changes everything. That's what happened with Abraham. And then the ram was caught in the thicket. The Lord God told him, hey, take the ram. Well, there's somebody else is going to be sacrificed. The Lord God, Christ did that for us, literally. Now, do you expect that you're going to participate in the glory? If you have that expectation, that's our hope, right? We wear that as a helmet of salvation, our expectation of the glory for the sons of God. Well, if you really, really expect that, you should expect to suffer in the likeness. That's what's happening. It's a sacrifice. The powers that be, the elite, the globalists, they are Herod, and we're John the Baptist. There's nothing that we can do to stop it. You think, oh, we're going to get this power, or we're going to something magical is going. No, it's not going to happen, because the Lord God is the one that put us on this path for a reason. He's testing you and me as by fire, like he's beating a sword, heating it up and beating it to make it just perfect. That's what he's doing with us. We're not supposed to stop it. Christ didn't stop it. Did he say, wait a minute? No. He went to the cross, didn't he? Willingly. He didn't whine and cry or anything. That's what we're supposed to do. And then whenever we're in our darkest hour, the Lord God's going to change everything. And he's going to reward us accordingly, not for behaving like babies, whining and crying, but for standing strong in the spirit like men, like soldiers, with sweat on our brow and mud in our boots. That's what we're supposed to do. So there's there's no real power. There's only one power, and that's God. The devil, he really doesn't have any power over us. Any power he has comes from far beyond. Everything's fixed. He can't change it. He's going to the lake of fire. We're going to glory. He has his time right now, like his short time at the end of the age. He's going to have his time again to romp around and to do great, powerful wonders and signs and such. Well, that's happening right now, spiritually, for you and me. So just hold on a little bit longer. Hold on a bit longer. Should non-citizens vote in LA elections? Absolutely. And you get what you vote for. That's why people are leaving the state. As soon as you let illegal aliens vote, then, I mean, this is another sign to me that we're near the end. You think George Washington would say, oh, yeah, cool. Would you allow that in your kingdom? You're a king, and you're going to let people just crawl up your wall and come down the other side and do as they please? Is that the way your kingdom's going to be run? I don't see that's the way that I want mine run. That shouldn't be the way that it is here in the United States either, but it is. California received 80% of funds for illegal alien foreign national households, while Americans face stricter rules. That's the way it is. This is spitefully using us. This is spitting in our face. It's just what I was just talking about. And they're doing it boldly right in front of us, just like they did against Christ. So you can let it anger you if you want to, but this is just par for the course. It's just normal. That's what we should expect. Armed man stopped seconds before attack on Houston pastor. This is Keith. I highly recommend him. That if you just replace your survival group for his church group, he can teach you a lot. U.S. Iran Lebanon mechanism to include Iran. Yeah, I shared this with you.
Protests have broken out in Wuhan.
Expect there's going to be a lot of meetings between Persians and Arabs. They're going to get their act together and boot the United States out. And Israel is going to have to take a knee and retreat inside of their borders, or else there's going to be all hell to pay for all of us. We'll see if that's going to happen. It seems like the events of Israel acting out as that 2-year-old child, killing their neighbors, is what's going to be happening as we're coming to our moment on the cross. That's going to be happening in the background. They're erupting because of these facilities. This particular facility, a hazardous waste facility, where they're going to test, what is it, 30,000 dangerous. People in Wuhan have every right to be freaking really angry. You can check it out over at China Uncensored. UAE close to buy Russian Indian supersonic cruise missile. Okay, well, there's going to be a stipulation. You don't use that against Iran. There's a missile, and then there's subordinate missiles. You'd have to tinker with to make them as good. They're probably going to get the short range one. And Russia and Iran, BRICS, China, they're using Iran against the West. That includes United Arab Emirates. So there's something wrong with this picture right here. Just saying, this might be canceled. There might be stipulations.
This is big break.
Power grid emergency declared. Trump signed the order. This is U.S. declares power emergency in Southeast. Heat straining the grids. We haven't seen anything yet. This is about to get way, 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 way worse. Shifting focus to Turkey. Israel says Hamas is plotting attacks from there. Well, Israel, you think you're all big and bad and you want to kill your neighbors. And the United States, your donor, is looking weaker by the minute. So what do you think is going to happen? You're surrounded by 1 billion Arabs. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be attacked from all sides. Israel has every reason to be scared, to behave like a scared rabbit. Because they're painting themselves into a corner, and they keep attacking and murdering people, children and such. You can't do that in the eyes of the world. So Trump's gamble interview, Victor Davis Hanson, I like him. I listened to him for years, on Fox News, his commentary. It's more and more obvious to me that he is a mouthpiece for the Israeli lobby. He serves the same people as Senator Tom Cotton. Crimea completely collapses under massive attacks. Putin doesn't need that much longer before he's going to have victory. Putin under pressure to retaliate against NATO. From what I understand, Scott Ritter and Putin's picking out his targets. They're making a target. Their generals are making target. They likely already have a target list of who they're going to strike. This is where I spend a lot of time in the evenings. See how these that are upcoming. Pepe is going to be there. Karen's going to be there. And Malcolm, Nance, and CIA. My brain isn't working. Larry Johnson. Those are all the people I listen to, and people I assume that you're listening to, so I don't have to regurgitate what they're saying over and over again. And they're going back and forth. It's hard to tell. If you just listen by what Trump says, it's one thing. If you listen to what the The Iranians say it's something different. Europe, U.S., Ukraine barreling to war with Russia. Yeah. You keep blowing up their refineries. Yeah, they can repair them, but they're getting sick and tired of it. They have satellites. They can see where the supplies are coming from, the missiles coming from. At some point, they're just going to start taking people out. They have no choice. U.S. is out. West Asia reshapes itself with new powers. Yeah. United States we have far too many bases everywhere in the world. We're going to collapse under our own weight of corruption, and that means bringing the people in those bases are going to have to come home. Karen's over here with the judge. She's a former lieutenant colonel too. I like her commentary. Cashing out to survive. People having to do what they're having to do to make it. The 401ks, you name it. Data centers digging up graves. The prison state infrastructure is happening. Under Trump, I mean, Trump and his billionaire buddies, they're the ones that are pushing it. People losing their minds. I shared that with you yesterday. The knife length that I use for what? Skinning a deer, cutting a watermelon. UFO disclosure simulation theory. We are living inside a giant simulation for sure. The earth is a simulation. The heaven is a simulation. It says so in Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Where God isn't created. That's where we're God's. Heaven and earth are created. Everything inside of heaven and earth is an incarnation. That's what Christ was trying to tell everybody. Well, the children of Israel, he said, "You're God's. What are you getting on to me for? I'm claiming to be the Son of God, and you're God's." Because Jesus Christ on earth is the incarnation of the Lamb of God. John said so, the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, right? But you're God's, so why are you throwing rocks at me? In God's infinite realm, we're God's. Everything in heaven and earth is a simulation. It's an incarnation. Total meltdown. House of Cards is crumbling. I saw a little bit of that. It seems like yesterday, but it was early this morning. Distractions are working. And you're not ready for this. Most people aren't ready. Most people are desensitized. Even people that are awake, aware, survivalists, preppers, they're desensitized. So whenever oil shock comes, whenever Mad Max comes, they're just going to be, surprised. Radiation detectors. I'm going to get you guys through this. America won't look the same. Absolutely not. Do not trust. Iran talks are fake. This is the one I was showing you earlier. Psychology of collapse. Stop blocking wrong. I shared that with you yesterday. We should all be in training. Every warning light just turned on. Systems are failing. That's what happens just before someone attacks. Think about it. You're BRICS, you're Russia. You're getting ready to attack somebody. What are you going to do? Before you even attack them, you're going to test their GPS systems. You're going to test their emergency systems. You're going to test them to see their response. And then you're going to refine your tactics. That could be happening to the United States at this very moment. 9 simple anti-looter traps that you can build. Hey, this is part of your survival strategy. I don't share this type of information with you guys. Do your own research. So when you build fences and barbed wire, that's a barrier, but that's not going to keep them out. Then there are other things, visible and invisible, things that you do in order to have a successful survival strategy. So that you can get some ideas from right here. Ask a prepper. It's a good place to spend some time. And that's it. I'm surprised that I made it this long. Appreciate your support very, very much. Get more information right at terror03.com. I'll see you on the next Black Star Update report.